A $5 plant. Zero watering after the first season. Roof surface temperature down by 56 degrees. Cooling bill down by 70%. Indoor air temperature down by 27 degrees in summer. The US government measured all of this. It grows on your roof right now in half the cities in Europe. And in 30 years of getting quotes from roofing companies, almost no American homeowner has ever heard its name. Your roof is the most expensive surface on your house. And right now, in the middle of summer, it is working against you. A conventional asphalt shingle roof on a hot afternoon reaches temperatures between 150 and 190 degrees Fahrenheit. Not air temperature, surface temperature. The actual physical material sitting 6 inches above your ceiling bakes at temperatures that would cook food. And every degree of that heat pushes straight down through your insulation, through your ceiling, and into the rooms where your family lives. Your air conditioner turns on, it runs longer than it should. Your electricity bill arrives, you pay it. You call it the cost of summer. And somewhere across the Atlantic, in Germany and the Netherlands and Denmark and the United Kingdom, homeowners with a $5 plant on their roof are paying 70% less than you to stay cool in the same heat. That plant is called Sedum. And the story of how it went from common knowledge in half of Europe to completely unknown in America is the story of how a building industry decides what you are allowed to learn. So before we get to what Sedum does and how it works, you need to understand the problem it solves, because the problem is bigger than most homeowners ever realize. Your roof does 2 things in summer. It absorbs heat, and it transfers that heat into your home. Asphalt shingles, the standard roof covering installed on 9 out of 10 American homes, are specifically designed for durability, weather resistance, and cost, not for keeping heat out. They are dark, dense, and highly efficient at absorbing solar radiation. On a day when the air temperature is 90 degrees Fahrenheit, an asphalt shingle roof can reach 160 degrees or more. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency documented this directly. The gap between air temperature and roof surface temperature on a typical summer day can exceed 70 degrees. Your roof is not just warm. It is a radiant heater mounted directly above your living space, running on free solar energy all day long, every single day of summer. That radiant heat load is one of the primary drivers of air conditioning demand in American homes. The EPA has estimated that green roofs, roofs with vegetation, can reduce the cooling load of a building by up to 70% compared to conventional roofs. 70%. Not a marginal improvement. Not 5 or 10%. 70. If your air conditioning bill in July is $400, a green roof could bring it to $120. If it is $200, it could bring it to $60. The numbers come from the EPA's own published research on heat islands and green infrastructure. They are not marketing claims from a plant company. They are measurements taken by the federal government on real buildings in real American cities. Stay with me, because what Sedum actually does to make this possible is one of the most elegant pieces of biology you will ever learn about. Sedum is a genus of succulent plants, the same family as the fat, waxy, water-storing plants you might have seen in a pot on someone's windowsill. There are hundreds of species, but the varieties used on roofs share a specific set of characteristics that make them almost uniquely suited for the job. They are extremely shallow-rooted, meaning they grow in just a few inches of a lightweight growing medium without needing deep soil. They are drought-tolerant to a degree that most plants cannot match. Some species can survive months without rain by closing their pores during the heat of the day and doing their breathing at night. They spread across a surface in a dense, flat mat, covering every inch with living tissue. And they are tough. Freeze them in winter, bake them in summer, leave them entirely unwatered for a season. They go dormant, they look dead, and then when the rain returns, they come back. Unlike most plants, Sedum does not compete with you for resources. It does not need rich garden soil. It does not need fertilizer or pesticides. It does not attract pests in any meaningful way. It does not grow tall or create weight problems. It grows outward, sideways, filling space, covering surface, turning a dead zone on top of your house into a living system that actively reduces your bills. A square foot of sedum on your roof is not a garden project. It is an energy system. It just happens to look like a plant. Now here is what that living mat does to your roof surface. Sedum works through 2 simultaneous mechanisms that compound each other. The first is shading. The dense plant cover simply blocks direct solar radiation from reaching the roof surface beneath it. The roof surface is in permanent shade. A surface in shade stays dramatically cooler than a surface in direct sun. This is not complicated physics. It is the same reason you park under a tree on a hot day. The second mechanism is evapotranspiration. Living plants continuously release water vapor through their leaves as part of their biological process, and that evaporation pulls heat energy out of the surrounding surface, the same way sweat pulls heat out of your skin. Switzerland went further and made green roofs mandatory on all new flat-roofed commercial buildings. Denmark incorporated them into national sustainability standards. The Netherlands made them part of stormwater management policy in major cities. Japan began a program in Tokyo requiring buildings above a certain size to dedicate a portion of their roof area to vegetation. In every one of these countries, the decision was driven by the same documented facts that the EPA published for American homeowners: lower surface temperatures, lower energy demand, lower cooling costs, longer roof life. The science was identical. The policy response was completely different. And in America, almost nothing changed. A handful of high-profile commercial buildings installed green roofs. Some universities studied them. The EPA published its research. And the residential roofing market, the market that covers the homes of 300 million Americans, continued to install asphalt shingles almost exclusively, the same product it had been installing since the 1950s. Here is what should make you furious. The American roofing industry is worth over $50 billion per year. The primary revenue model is not installation, it is replacement. Asphalt shingle roofs last 15 to 30 years, depending on quality and climate. When they fail, homeowners pay between $8,000 and $15,000 for a new roof. That replacement cycle is the financial engine of the entire industry. A roofing company that installs 10 roofs a year in a neighborhood will be back in that neighborhood in 15 to 20 years to replace every one of them. The revenue is not just from new construction, it is from the guaranteed failure of the product they installed. Sedum roofs, installed correctly, dramatically extend the life of the underlying roof membrane. The plant cover protects the membrane from the ultraviolet radiation, thermal cycling, and physical wear that destroy asphalt shingles. Studies from Germany have documented green roof membranes lasting 40 to 60 years, compared to 15 to 30 years for exposed asphalt. A homeowner who installs a Sedum roof may never need to replace their roof again. From the perspective of a roofing contractor whose business model depends on replacement cycles, that homeowner is not a good customer. They are the last sale they will ever make to that address. This is not a conspiracy meeting in a back room. It is simpler than that, more pervasive. Roofing contractors are not trained in green roof installation. The trade schools and apprenticeship programs that produce the American roofing workforce do not teach it. The supply chains that deliver materials to roofing companies do not stock green roof components because there is no volume demand. And there is no volume demand because contractors do not offer it and homeowners do not know to ask for it. The knowledge gap feeds the demand gap, and the demand gap feeds the knowledge gap, and the whole loop runs year after year while your roof bakes at 160 degrees and your air conditioner runs, and your electricity bill arrives. Europe broke that loop through building codes and municipal requirements. American cities, with a handful of exceptions, have not. The modern research on this topic is not hidden. It is sitting in plain sight on the EPA's website, in the Energy's Building Energy Efficiency publications, in dozens of peer-reviewed journals. What is hidden is not the science. What is hidden is the practical knowledge that would allow an average homeowner to actually do something with it. Where do you buy the plants? What preparation does the roof need? How thick does the growing medium need to be? What species work in your climate? These are answerable questions with well-documented answers, and almost no American roofing or landscaping contractor is trained to provide them. Here is what you can do right now. Sedum mats and plugs are available from green roof suppliers and native plant nurseries across the United States. Search specifically for extensive green roof sedum mats or sedum plug trays for green roofs. These are different from the ornamental sedum sold at garden centers, though many of those species work perfectly well too. Suppliers like Green Roof Outfitters, Live Roof, and American Hydrotech ship nationally and provide installation guides specific to your climate region. Prices run approximately $3 to $7 per square foot for the plant material alone. The most common installation method for a residential roof starts with a root barrier membrane laid on the existing roof surface, followed by a drainage layer, a filter fabric, a growing medium of 3 to 4 inches of lightweight engineered substrate, and the sedum plants themselves, which can be installed as pre-grown mats, as individual plugs, or from seed. Pre-grown mats are the most reliable option for homeowners. They arrive as a fully established carpet of plants that you simply unroll onto the prepared surface, and they knit together within a single growing season into a seamless cover that protects every inch of the roof beneath. The total weight of a completed extensive green roof, the shallow sedum type used for energy efficiency, runs between 10 and 25 pounds per square foot when saturated, which is within the structural capacity of most standard residential roof systems. A structural engineer can confirm your roof's capacity for a few $100s before you commit to the project. For most houses built in the last 50 years, the roof structure has more than enough capacity to support the weight without any modification. The system is lighter than many homeowners expect, because the growing medium used in modern green roofs is specifically engineered to be lightweight, expanded clay aggregates and mineral fibers rather than heavy garden soil. The plant cost alone runs approximately $3 to $7 per square foot for sedum mats or plugs. The growing medium and layers add to the cost, bringing a complete DIY installation to roughly $15 to $25 per square foot. Professional installation runs higher. But the EPA's documented energy savings, combined with the extended roof membrane lifespan, produce a payback period of 3 to 7 years on the energy savings alone, with decades of continued return after that. And unlike a new HVAC system that also degrades and eventually needs replacement, the sedum on your roof gets more established, more drought resistant, and more effective with every passing year. Your roof is the largest untreated surface on your home. Right now, in the middle of summer, it is baking at 160 degrees while your air conditioner runs below it. A plant that costs $5 waters itself after the first year and has been documented by the federal government to cut your cooling bill by 70%, has been growing on rooftops in Europe since before your parents were born. And the person who installed your current roof, who handed you a warranty for a product designed to fail in 20 years, never once mentioned it. Not because they did not know it existed. Because a roof that never needs replacing is not a roof they can ever sell you again. Think about every electricity bill you have paid and every summer you have lived in your current home. Add them up. Every July, every August, every brutal September. The air conditioner running at 2 in the afternoon, the bill arriving at the end of the month. Now multiply that by the 70% the EPA says you could have saved. That number is not a hypothetical. It is the real cost of not knowing about a $5 plant. It is money that left your household year after year because a building industry calculated that your ignorance was worth more than your knowledge, if the sedum is still out there, growing flat and dense on thousands of rooftops across Europe, cooling buildings through nothing more than shade and slow evaporation, protecting roof membranes that outlast the contractors who installed them, running on nothing but rain and sunlight, asking nothing, just growing, the way it has grown on rooftops for 1,000 years, long before anyone decided that a 15-year replacement cycle was an acceptable way to build a house. The plant does not care that American contractors never mention it. It does not care about replacement cycles or the quarterly earnings of the roofing industry. It just grows, flat and dense, turning solar energy that would have baked your ceiling into water vapor that cools your home. It was doing this on Viking longhouses 1,000 years ago. It will still be doing it long after the last asphalt shingle crumbles into a landfill. If this vault opens something for you, subscribe and hit the bell. Every like and every share preserves what they tried to erase. The next vault opens soon.